Well, what do we have here? Another patrol episode. That is what we have and what we are about to get into. So on tonight, we have a brand new coolant reservoir expansion tank, la-di-da-di-da, to replace this old girl because, once again, I don't think it may not even be leaking, but it's just old. And for the sake of cheap parts, it's like we may as well. And the more important thing, hence why I'm sort of doing this job, is the temp sender, which on a TV42 looked a lot easier than what it does on this. I haven't actually located it yet. No, that's my guess there. That plug. That you probably, oh, just that yellow looking plug there, which is this temp sender. That little bad boy, because it's not working anymore and I don't want my car to overheat and coolant seems to be going missing, so I've got to figure that out. And then the other job, not sure if I'll get to it tonight, but the steering dampener. Now, of course, we have the new, what was the front one called again? Drag link in there, and that steering dampener goes between the drag link and the one behind it, which is the front panhard. And I wouldn't need to replace it, and I can drive without it technically. It's just a little bit heavier on the steering, and you feel the bumps instead of it being nice and soft like a bus, you know. But yeah, so we got all the parts here, so get the job done. Tune in. It will just be a pretty standard oil service because it needs to be done, hasn't been done for a while since I've been driving it around and stuff. I'm going away next weekend, so I need to be in top tip shape. Also, stay tuned, it'll be the first away, like camping away episode in the patrol. It's not really camping, but still going away, so expect some wheeling content, which will be mint. Hence why I've got to do it now. So, going to do a service. Also going to install this expansion tank before the weekend, hopefully. So, that's what we're on to tonight. Boom, just like that, service is done. Time to get on this bad boy. Just got the old reservoir out, only snapped one bolt instead of that a win, but look at the colour of that. Ugh, like brown. Ugh. Well, got the new tank in, topped up all the fluids, got the coolant up there, also filled up some in the main radiator as well, because this thing's been I don't know, it seemed to not have a whole lot in there recently, but it's alright, topped her up now. It's not running hot or anything, but also replaced my temp sender the other day. Can't remember if I filmed that or not, but new temp sender because my gauge is weird, it stopped working for a bit, but it doesn't get very hot, this car. It's sort of, the temperature will come onto the gauge and sit like just above cold, sort of like a fifth of the way up the scale sort of thing, which is weird. So my old man reckons maybe change the thermostat. There might not be one in there, so it might just be like flowing, which would make the car like always be cold sort of thing, which isn't a good thing because you want it at operating temperature because then it's less wear and tear on all the components. However, I've also noticed, got to do that battery terminal as well, that's annoying me. But as I was fiddling around with this, I had to take the air filter cover box off to get to the tank a bit easier. But I've noticed that this is like completely sheared off and probably the cause of my misfire and why it's idling and running like shit. So, for now, good old race tape. Just going to help try and seal it up just to get me to work tomorrow because I didn't even notice it was fully sheared till now. So I'm just going to do that, hopefully help. And then I'm going to have to find just like a 45 degree, what's that, like 2-3 inch plumbing, 2.5 inch plumbing bend, like silicone hose or something. But yeah, bit annoying, but it's alright. Hopefully, well, I'll see if that helps sort of the misfire or anything like that. Not that it's that major, but hopefully it helps a little bit. And then if I put a new hose on there, it might solve a whole lot of other problems. Who knows? Keen, but nice. bush fix of the day, 100%. Look at that. Keen to see how that performs tomorrow. It's going to be quite interesting, I reckon, but it's going to be epic. Now, I've ripped the lid off this. I'm quite excited. I kind of want to pull it all out and have a dig through it, but probably not going to get round to it tonight, and then it means it's floating in my car, so I'm scared, but send it. Well, this is getting exciting, looking amazing. However, nothing's ever easy on the patrol. We should know this by now. Now, that is a low mount winch, that is a high mount bar. So, first thing is like the bolt holes are like in the bottom, and so normally you'd bolt it to a base like such, and it'd be orientated like so. However, that's no fun, we're not doing that. Ours will bolt like forward onto this plate here. However, the next issue, you see how in here it's like tapered, sort of like it's like a valley. So we have to space we have to make up like brackets or spaces to space the winch back enough so that, like, because it's quite long, it's got to fit in between the taper. So the more we space it back, the more room it has on the side, more clearance sort of thing. So that's another thing we've got to take into consideration. And I've got to make sure that we can do that with this winch, because I don't know how they work. I don't know if they need to be like upright to work or anything like that. So lots of exciting times ahead. It's going to be fun. Don't know how it's going to go, but it's going to be great. I'm sure it will. Good evening, lovelies. Quick story time. So I was driving home from work just the other night, in the patrol of course, and I was driving along the highway, a bit of a vibration through the steering wheel, a bit of like a knocking noise, like dum 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 dum. I was like, ooh, it's a bit weird. Only as I sort of was getting up to speed, so 100 k's an hour, like 80 to 100 k's, I noticed it like quite easily. And I was like, ooh, like that's not good. I didn't decide to pull over because it's like where I am, it's like one big hump of a hill, and then I was taking the next exit anyway, so like it wasn't that big of a drama, but I was like hanging on for that one exit stretch of highway. I was like, whew, not good. Anyway, got home, actually just had to ditch the patrol completely, had to jump in my old man's ute and head off south a bit more because I had to go to a shop before it closed to get some parts for the motorbike for this weekend. Anyway, stay tuned. And then come back, like quickly had a look at the patrol, checked all the arms underneath, put split pins in where I was meant to that I didn't, sort of tightened up all the bolts, like checked all the bolts were tight, and they were all fine. I was like, all right. I had to go to a mate's place to drop off some bike parts, so I was like, get in the car, like we'll head out again. So I had the patrol, I was going out the back exit of the property, and was like, nah, something still feels weird. Even though I was only going real slow, I could still like feel and hear it almost. So I was like, nah, something's sus here. So I quickly, like, I run back up to the shed, grabbed my tool bag and a flashlight, and was like, oh yeah, and like just quickly grabbed like the wheel brace out my tool bag, and was like, oh yeah, I'll go over the wheels, did the driver's side, yep, they're all good. Come around to the passenger side, and was like, did the first one, I was like, oh yeah, that was a bit loose, that took like a whole turn. And then like went to like shine the light on it, like to look at the next ones, and they just weren't existent. They just were not on the wheel at all. So I was hanging on by 2 wheel nuts, I think. It had a 6, and I was like, oh, not ideal at all. Anyway, so that's what we're addressing tonight. Now I do like have wheel nuts and everything anyway, but as you can see, that's the factory style, that's aftermarket. They're actually the ones for my Silver on the race car. That one has different factory ones and like anti-theft ones as well, so there's like 4 different styles on there at the moment, and it's not ideal. So what I've got in my little bag of goodies for today, a lot of other stuff, but mainly a hell of a lot of wheel nuts, so I'm going to get onto that. And then also this other stuff, these are like little top-up bags to put all my little takeaway top-up bottles in, like to keep the fluids in the bottle and from not spilling all through my car. And then also have a thermostat to replace, but it's not going to get done before this weekend where I'm going away, but it's not really that important. The car's sort of running fine temperature-wise as is. It's just something better to do for the sake of a $20 part sort of thing, you know, just do it now and then feel a bit more comfortable. But yeah, gonna do that now. Well, that should be much better. So, got all the new wheel nuts on, lots of anti-seize, and have been torqued to spec. Lovely stuff. Now, I'm just going to organise my tool bag and stuff, and I might throw some stuff I've got lying around in the rear. Oh, I also have to add these stickers to the collection. Ooh, lovely. Yeah, I might just sort of set up the back a little bit better and organise all my stuff and clean it out before the weekend, because it's a bit hard to see what I want. There's just stuff everywhere, so I'm going to sort that out. Yeah, we do. Got that new sticker on. Tidied up the back here. Got my big fat tool bag with all my top ups in there. Cleaned it up a little bit. Everything's nice and secure. Put my bloody cook pot in there. I've got a bunch of a plate, bowl and set and stuff like that to go in there. But got the rear seats up and made the battery and J-box and inflator and stuff nice and neat, just so it wasn't all on top of each other because it gets a bit dead. And I didn't realise how messy my back was, but gave this all a quick clean, and I couldn't even see the floor. But now I've got it set up so we got the jump starter under there, electrical bag over the other side, nice and tucked away, so I can still have all 5 people in my car at once. And yeah, got the front all nice and clean too. Got some nice groovy neoprene covers to go over these front seats, however I want to give them a good clean and let them dry properly before I go and cover them, otherwise God knows what will happen underneath. And then I was looking around and I've got to give the roof and just all the interior a good clean. It's a bit grubby, but I'll get there eventually. But yeah, pretty happy with that progress. Got it all sorted for the weekend, nice and clean. Wheels are done. I do want to mount the bracket for the, I'm not sure if you can see it, but the bracket for the CB radio handheld thing. I've still got to put that somewhere. Not the end of the world if it gets done. It just means it'll be flying around. It's not ideal, but doesn't really matter, I suppose. But yeah. Car's looking nice and tidy. I'm getting so keen for the weekend. Got a couple of days. Got to get the Kato sorted. I haven't really been showing you too much of this. This is my old man's, but he's going to let me borrow it. But it hasn't been used in ages. So I started up the other day. I had to give the carby a good clean, and the floating needle was being annoying and was overflooding the carby and stuff like that. So I had to deal with that. And then just this afternoon, did a full service, changed the filters, oil, the coolant, changed the battery because the battery was cooked, did a whole heap. Now it's all back together pretty good. Got to give it a run tomorrow during the day and tune it a bit more with the mixture screw because it's just not running quite right yet, but we'll see how we go with that. But yeah, taking that away on the weekend to a mate's place. Forby's ready, bike's getting ready. So keen, content's going to be so good. Stay tuned.